How can I? You guys excited about the draft? Oh wait, no, not the NFL draft. I'm talking about in 6 months. I think everyone's gonna have to register who's eligible for the military. You guys excited? No, whoops, no. Well, I hope to lead one of the Coachella units. The sexiest unit in our proud military, I'm sure. What in the 2026 is going on?
This is the lead singer of The Strokes, Julian Casablancas, ripping the Trump admin and the state of our country. Now, they did this during their set where they featured two main pillars politically in 2026. First, they showed how they are an anti-war band with the Palestinian flag and the Ukrainian flag. The second was his shirt that looked like an Amazon Prime logo. However, it read crime in lowercase letters.
No, I'm here for Bieber personally as well, honestly. They didn't even pay me. They said I could stand on the side of the stage, and I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm just kidding. They would never let me stand on the side of the stage, I'm sure.
He'd also joke about Bieber being the $10 million headliner of Coachella. And while some had their critiques of the festival and the crowd...
Right, the Strokes deserved a way better crowd at Coachella. They deserved so much more. And I've seen people commenting like, oh, British crowds are better than American live music crowds. Glastonbury's got a better crowd than Coachella. And I've always been like, I'm not sure. But then I see that and I'm like, Like, this is the Strokes we're talking about, and people just stood there like, woo. Also, the Strokes sounded incredible. I've got a couple of mates that have been to see the Strokes, and apparently, I don't know because I've never seen them. I'm just going off what other people say, but apparently they're a little bit hit and miss live. Like, sometimes Julian Casablancas is on it, and sometimes he isn't. But the highlights that I saw from their set, they sounded so good.
Others brought up his past comments, so let's dive in. During the past election cycle, he posted an image of a sticker which read, "I protested," instead of the typical "I voted" illustration. In the caption, he explained his post had been prefaced by a discussion with his mom, who expressed her disagreement with his decision to abstain. "My beautiful, sweet, amazing mom just told me, I agree with you, but right now vote at least to keep Trump from winning. Think of your children. I understand and respect that viewpoint," he wrote, "of marginal, incremental betterment, but respectfully do not think it is the path. Like I told her, I'm thinking of my children. The two parties are a joke, a horrible lie. The military and oil companies and banks are who we are voting for, and the media is their propaganda/entertainment wing. And with the way they cheated Bernie Sanders, I see little point in choosing between these puppets. They want you to think it matters. That way nothing will change, but it has to change." Nikolai, though, took a different route with this sticker and the caption, "I voted early on Halloween. Last day to vote is today." Now, to give one an idea of his politics, as he said before, he supported Bernard Sanders. In the video posted by the senator's YouTube, Julian stated, "Bernie's the only non-corporate candidate, truly non-corporate candidate. He's the only person that you could believe what he's saying, and he cares about people, proving it for so many years. If he could win despite all the corporate money against him, it's a pretty important blast. And for independent politics in the world, nothing's ever going to get fixed until you have separation of wealth and power. He's the only person who talks about that. I generally would believe anyone who was not paid to have an opinion, or whether it was a musician or ball player, janitor, whatever. I'd be more interested in hearing what they had to say rather than someone who's paid by a news company. There's only one candidate you can really trust if someone is paid by someone who represents some kind of special interest by default. I cannot believe a word that this person says. It's just kind of common sense. And, you know, where every person having one vote, I think that's the idea of democracy. And Bernie represents that, giving the power of your vote back to the people. Bernie is the only person to vote for to make your vote count. The Strokes would perform for the senator. And when Joe Biden was the clear nominee, they called for him to choose Sanders as his running mate, which of course he did not. He is also a huge supporter of Zohran Mamdani, the mayor of New York City. He would say Mamdani is saying things that are popular all across the world, but they're completely stifled and filtered out by the financial forces that run the world. I think he's an amazing guy. He's very energetic. He seems like a good person, a wonderful person. I think they woke up to him too late. You saw all these weird negative things that came out of nowhere, which are to be expected, but he's not saying anything wild. Billionaires should pay 1% more tax, maybe. And then one particular billionaire, Bill Ackman, loses his entire mind about this and pays $100,000 to try and stop him. It was actually a lot more, at least in my example of Bill Ackman. I mean, Mamdani's not a communist. He's just saying things that are popular everywhere in the world. These are basic democratic values. It's more about the strategy of picking the spaces where you can slip through the cracks. Because if you meet the system head on, you get crushed. That was a damn good answer. Revisiting his past not gonna vote comments, he told NME, to be super middle of the road, I would say the VP, Tim Walz. He seems like an honest, decent person. So just for him, I suppose I'll be sports rooting for that team more than the other team. But I think they're both two sides of the same corporate coin. Emotionally, a woman of color and all that, sure. Let's just get that out of the way and check that box so we can move forward. But in terms of what people actually want, neither of the parties offer that. They just have a stranglehold on power. I/D profiled him, writing, he is known for being outspoken about politics, and I have a little bit of a handle on what those politics are materially. Julian is a political autodidact, someone who reads about politics constantly and engages in politics constantly. He is someone who jokes that being a musician is a, quote, day job. I've always been political, he told Sophie Kemp. The older I get and acquire the relevant info, the more I feel equipped to talk about it. To date, he endorsed two candidates, Sanders and Maya Wiley, who I also endorse, a progressive Dem who ran for mayor of New York City previously. He doesn't really adhere to any political label. He is definitely some sort of leftist. He hates mainstream politicians, referring to the two-party system as Exxon versus Citibank, and says he likes politicians only if, quote, they're not bribed. It should be brought up that he made some pretty terrible comments about Russell Brand, though he did say that once he is in a court of law and the verdict is guilty, essentially, that he would change his tune and say, my bad. But let me just be clear, all right? His politics align with a lot of leftists in saying, yes, things would be different. There's no question about it, but it could be better if they did not serve corporations, if we did not have corporate overlords overlooking and also powerfully controlling our politics. There are so many different levers that we can pull as an electorate, but to go with the guy who is potentially, or woman who is backed by the same donors as the evil side politically just doesn't make sense to him. And in so many ways, I do agree. What we need is money out of politics. We do not need Verizon, AT&T. We do not need shoe companies. We do not need banks. We don't need insurance companies and many, many more controlling the way we live our lives and also how we are just beaten down left and right. This is rather simplistic. So for those that are bashing him, I understand to a degree, especially where you fall within the political spectrum. But a lot of what he's saying outside of the Russell Brand stuff is pretty good. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.